And good morning. Here we are. It's 8:07 as we begin the best 2 hours of your day out there, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I know. So here we are. And now it's less than 2 hours, so we probably ought to get started. And by the way, if you'd like to reach us, 208-542-1079. That's 208-542-1079. I told Julie this, and I probably ought to just be upfront and just straightforward with the audience. My mind is very fuzzy today, and I don't really know what's going on. So if I say weird stuff beyond the normal weird stuff, just know that it's a cloudy brain right now.
Beyond saying drawers and bills instead of bills and drawers.
Yeah.
Because that was your favorite mistake to make throughout all of the election coverage.
It was. So yesterday was the weirdest. I would say we probably work half of the Memorial Days, right? It just kind of depends year to year.
Probably more than that, but yeah.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, it doesn't matter. But yesterday was a little bit frustrating because usually it's laid back. It's a holiday.
We'll talk about food.
Right. Listenership is lower. And we were going along just fine yesterday. But then we had a couple of calls, listeners, they hate Trump. I mean, that's clear, right?
They were angry elves.
They were. And I think they were Trump supporters. Now they are not. And to the point where it got a little heated in the text line. Someone who had called in then sort of escalated in our text line. And we won't bore you with the back and forth of all of that. But it did cause me, and this was around the policy with Iran. And, of course, we bombed Iran last year. It was about a year ago, I think. And we took out the Fordow nuclear site. Now, Trump's rhetoric gets a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And words mean things. And so I actually went back. I don't have a specific memory of what exactly Trump said. I do know he used the word obliterated. I do remember that. But that was the caller's big problem, too. That was. The caller called yesterday saying that Trump said that we had obliterated all of Iran's nuclear capability forevermore. That's not what Trump said. I went back to the record because I was curious. I'm like, okay, what are we arguing here? Because we might be arguing on bad information. So I went back. Here's the official transcript from the White House. President Trump said, monumental damage was done to all nuclear sites in Iran, as shown by satellite images. Obliteration is an accurate term. The white structure shown is deeply embedded into the rock with even its roof well below ground level and completely shielded from flame. The biggest damage took place far below ground level. Bullseye. And then it's got quotes from other people, from J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, and others.
So,
but it's centered around what Trump had said.
So this is the what happened in July of last year.
Yeah.
And the caller said if it was obliterated, we shouldn't have entered into this conflict with Iran.
Right.
That Trump had made a claim there was no need for the war with Iran.
Yes. So when you look at never before, Julie, have I studied what it means to be a nation with nuclear capability. So okay, let's see what this means. So Trump did say obliterated. And if you look at it closely, Trump is talking about the actual facilities, and specifically Fordow, but there were other sites that they hit and they took out as well. What they didn't get is the latent capability, like the scientists, the designs, the intellectual property, the stockpiles, some of the dispersed equipment, and some of the other hidden sites. But you don't know what you don't know at that point in time. You just know you've taken out the facility that is the most threatening to the region. And that was a big win. They did obliterate the Fordow site, but they had to use intelligence after that to assess what remains now in terms of Iran's capability to develop a nuclear weapon. Turns out they still had some uranium around. Turns out they still have their scientists. They still have their intellectual property. As long as the Iranian regime is in power, they still have the will to pull those things together and begin anew on creating a nuclear weapon. It's the big sticking point in all of the ceasefire talks that we're having. And it's the big sticking point downstream from why the Strait of Hormuz has been open and then closed and then open and then closed. And it's been back and forth these last few weeks. Now, I will say this. If you are hell-bent on Trump being a liar, there is nothing you and I can say, Julie.
Right.
But if you're looking for nuance in a complicated world, what Trump said in that moment was actually accurate. They did obliterate the Fordow site and some of the other nuclear sites in Iran, but there's still residual resources out there to cobble together another nuclear program. And that is what this effort this year is about in trying to stop Iran. We're not going to have a prolonged conflict. We're not going to have a quagmire with our callers. All right. Mm-hmm. So we don't have any interest in having this back and forth. But if you want to parse out, well, what's true and what's not true, and maybe not get so hung up on who you hate or what is bugging you, I think it's probably more accurate just to look at the policy and say, sadly, I mean, we removed Iran from being able to have a nuclear weapon within just a few days or weeks. We didn't remove Iran, nor could we ever, from having a nuclear weapon in the coming months and years, because there's always going to be a will there, and there are bad players in the world like China and Russia.
Iran doesn't exist in a vacuum.
No, they don't.
And so the capability, one of his big sticking points, and I get this, is that he said, well, a goal is the end goal, and it doesn't matter if you get to 80% or 90%. You don't say you achieved your goal unless it absolutely happened. Well, the problem is you'll never achieve that because Iran doesn't exist in a vacuum. Yeah. So that is a choice where Trump always loses.
Yeah.
And okay, I guess if you want to take the worldview that way, you can. But it is impossible to identify what is going to happen in 6 months. It's absolutely impossible. You have too many players, too many hidden secrets, too many things going on. So you're doing what you think you need to do. And Trump always talks like the toughest guy in the room. So he's not going to say, well, I think we got it all. I think we obliterated what we know they have.
Yeah.
That's not what he's going to say. It's Trump. He's going to say, we obliterated their program.
Biggest victory ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but if you have an understanding of what foreign policy and affairs and wars, and if you read some history, you'll understand it's never over.
Yeah.
The battles are never over.
No, it's true. It's always going to be there. Because evil exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this what we're talking about?
Yes.
The persistence of evil?
Mm-hmm. So the bottom line is, go ahead. I have stylistic problems with Trump. I absolutely do. There's things that he does that I don't love. I mentioned yesterday, I don't love when he calls people names. It's a problem for me. I know it's not for other people. That's fine. Guess what? I don't hate those people because it's not a problem for them.
Yeah.
I have my own opinion and I go, I don't like it. I can understand why it's okay for you.
So I also look at it like this, Julie. When you have someone in your life, you have the entire package, the good and the bad.
Absolutely.
Overall, Trump's a net positive for America in my mind. I absolutely believe he loves this country. I absolutely believe he knows what to do. It would happen faster if people would get out of his way and not try to stop him at every turn. We just had a story earlier this morning about the 4 senators that Ted Cruz has identified that are hell-bent on disrupting any Trump success, even if it meant national success, even if it was good for the country. They're probably going to try to stand in the way because they can't let Trump have any victories or wins. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's very sad. Whatever would result in a better national economy, a better national security, we ought to support that, even if it helps Trump.
Right.
But I think that there are people that are so wound up in the personality politics of this they're willing to let the country suffer because they want to deny Donald Trump a success.
Oh, absolutely. That absolutely exists. And I can't assign a motive to the people who had issues yesterday and decided to be so angry on a Memorial Day. I don't know what their motive is.
Yeah.
It was clear to me that they don't like Trump.
Yeah.
And so once you've settled on that, like, have you ever think back to high school and your buddy was dating a girl and you were like, that girl is bad news. I don't want that girl couldn't have done anything to change your mind.
Right.
You had already decided that girl is bad news.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. This hatred for Trump, once you decide you hate him, there isn't a capability to shelf your emotion and actually walk through something and go, oh, I can see that was a potential of what he meant there. And yes, I can see that I don't love this war, but this part and this part are really, really good for America.
Yeah.
Like, once you've hit that spot of hatred, you can't walk back, I guess.
No, I also think once you've accepted a premise or two and you've sort of made that just part of your worldview and who you are, you can't prove those people wrong. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter if they believe that 2 + 2 = 5. All the remedial math courses in the world aren't going to convince them otherwise. And so I think we have this situation where the premise here is Israel is bad and evil and corrupt, and it doesn't matter what you say after that. There's no tsunami of evidence that will unravel that because they're locked in, they're dialed in, and you can't walk that back. I think another one are these false premises about Donald Trump, and I think it's a waste of energy to try to convince them otherwise. And so the reason we talk about it today is that I hope that we're always watchful and mindful of what we're ingesting in the media and what information we're reading and what YouTube videos we're watching and what Facebook reels we're seeing, how they're impacting us. And is that media embedding a false premise that is later going to radicalize us so that we no longer can see that 2 + 2 = 4?
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, it's Brad from Now 105.1 and QP99. I'm in the studio here. I love our studios, by the way. Ranger Rick back there. There's Neal and Julie doing their thing. Hey, when you want to advertise on the radio, what do? You call the radio station, right? But what do you do when you want to advertise on Facebook and Instagram and Hulu and Disney Plus and Peacock and the other TV streaming services? You can kind of click around on them and make guesses or read books or take courses online on how to do that advertising. Or you could call us at the radio station. At Sandhill Media, we take care of your local radio and digital marketing. So reach out to us at sandhillmediagroup.com and we'll make sure that your message gets heard and seen wherever your customers are.
One of the most unrealistic parts of the conversation that we had via text yesterday was this person was so entrenched and wanted to win the argument that they wouldn't even admit that people who have YouTube channels or who have podcasts are potentially feeding you untrue information.
Yeah.
They couldn't accept that concept whatsoever. And I don't know how you can't understand the media game. These people don't have employers. Lots of times they're one-man bands.
Yeah.
Every bit of money that they make comes off of their views and their clicks. You don't think they're going to be a little outrageous?
They absolutely are.
I don't even know how people can't see that game that's being played.
You know, it's funny. Again, and this is not in the effort to pick any fights here, but for several years, I would have people reach out to me saying, you need to add the Alex Jones radio show. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not adding the Alex Jones radio show. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Alex Jones is even in on it. Well, he's not anymore because now TMZ, or what owns him now?
Oh,
someone bought info. Oh, The Onion.
yes. Yeah.
The Onion bought InfoWars. So I think there's some evidence to suggest that Alex Jones is just cosplaying.
Oh, he's wherever I can get a paycheck.
Yes, whatever that is. And if you have to do episodes where you yell, "It's turning all the freaking frogs gay," that's the one that always jumps out at me. Then by all means, that's what he's going to do, because it's going to turn into more people listening, more people watching, more people subscribing.
It's coin in his pocket.
It absolutely is, and it's a model. And incentives matter. If it's lucrative enough, your brain and mind will find a pathway that even you believe it. I think there's a good chance that Candace and Tucker believe now their anti-Israel rhetoric. They don't want to be honest enough to connect it with, because it's making me rich. They're just finding ways to not feel like they are lying to the American public every day.
Yes, because they gotta sleep.
Yes.
With themselves every night. They got to look themselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
Please just have a sense of skepticism to the things that you listen to. And that includes us. Mm-hmm. Formulate your own end result, your own ideas based upon multiple avenues. Do a little reading about history. That would be beneficial.
Yeah.
Do some different things. If you buy into just one YouTube channel and you don't even look at the basis of where that YouTube channel came or their political views or everything, but man, it matches my anger at Trump and you're all in on it. Yeah. You're part of the game.
Yeah, it's true. Let's go to the phones. Caller, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. It's probably back to college. I had a roommate, and we thought different politically, but we went to the same church, so we had some common ground. But we had a discussion once that he could not comprehend that people could do bad things for money. And so I brought it up. We brought it politically and wars and scriptures and all that stuff, and somehow after hours of discussion, he still could not change his mind that people could not do bad things for money. He's like, no, there's no way. I like to think good in people. I'm like, well, me too, but there's still bad people. But there's no way he was going to change his mind. It was interesting.
Yeah. It's thank you for the call.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think they do. Now, here's what I think might happen, though, and this doesn't answer his roommate's point. I think people will justify in their own minds doing bad things for money, like if they're going to rob a bank, for instance. That might be one of the most obvious examples of people doing bad things for money. They might, in their minds, say, well, I deserve this because I've been disadvantaged in life.
Mm-hmm.
They're still doing a bad thing for money. But I do think most people will try to find a pathway of justification for why they're doing what they're doing.
We just experienced a political cycle in Idaho where people did not great things to settle a score. And I think they believe it was virtuous.
I
really do believe. Like, I'm watching them. I believe they believe that was virtuous to behave that way.
Yes. Yeah. Now I'm racking my brain trying to think what you're talking about. Someone said, I'm skeptical of everything you guys say. You should be.
I'm glad you are. I hope you're free thinking. I hope the things that we say here actually spur thoughts that make you do a little bit of research.
Yeah.
I mean, again, back to the political cycle we just endured here in East Idaho. That was the hope. That was the hope that if I talk about a certain politician's donations, I hope you don't end it there. I hope you go looking.
Yeah.
And you look at the donations and see where they come from.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should. We should all do that. All right, it's 8:25 on News Talk 1079. Neal Larson and Julie Mason. Quick break. We'll come back. More texts, more phone calls. And if you would like to reach us, that number's 208-542-1079. All right, it's 8:29. News Talk 1079. It is a Tuesday morning. Neal Larson, Julie Mason. And all of you. Julie, you said the local elections in the last segment, and I got twitchy.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a thought, by the way, speaking of this, now I'm going to talk about the elections, not so much the local elections. I'm ready to be done with those for quite a while.
Yeah.
However, when you look at that map, I think it was Brian Ullman put out about how we're really kind of two states. You have the Panhandle, and then I would say the western third of the state is conservative, just solid, good conservative. Some of them a little more libertarian, others are a little more
Nampa, Caldwell.
Yeah, they're a little more Reagan-esque, right? Hear me out. Is part of the reason for that their proximity to Oregon, Washington? They're a little closer to the insanity.
They got to build a wall.
Yeah, basically. Like they're looking at it going, look at these yahoos across the border in Spokane or across the border over in Portland and Eugene. They're closer to that. They probably hear more stories about the taxes, the regulation, the marijuana, all of the stuff. And maybe they're more fed up with it being on that side of the state because of their proximity. Whereas we have Wyoming, which is like our, brother or sister and it's almost twin brother and sister. Fraternal twins, because we're not identical, but we're close to them. Wyoming is still pretty sane. And I wonder if we just don't feel the pressure of what swerving left will do to a state.
Maybe. I mean, you're kind of explaining the way that I came up with and conclusions based upon what happened in the election, which is that we're pretty numb here in East Idaho. We've become very, very numb. We heard from people who said they didn't even vote this time around because why vote? It's not worth it. I saw that sentiment shared on Facebook. I had taken a big step back from Facebook after the election. I went on for a little bit. I'm back off a little bit. My life was better without it. But I saw people saying that on Facebook, that this was stupid, that I will never be able to combat the dark money that comes in, and it's sides that are fighting instead of actually caring about the real issues. Like that was a sentiment shared by a lot of people. So I think maybe we are a little bit numb here. We think we're Teflon and we're going to be okay. That's not how it works.
No, I don't think that's how it works at all. And so, and I think we're going to see. Here's where I'm having a little bit of cognitive dissonance. I actually like a lot of our lawmakers here in East Idaho. Like just as people, they're good people. We talk to them all the time.
I'd have dinner with almost all of them.
Yeah.
Without hesitation.
I would too. Maybe one or two, not right now. But yes, but you know what I'm saying? Like we get along with them quite well. I do disagree with a number of their votes, and I'm not going to hesitate about that. We'll just say, look, I like you, but that vote on the library bill was, not great. Or that vote on House Bill 93, totally disagree with you on that because the government shouldn't be getting in between parents and their education providers.
You're just going to say it that way from here on out, aren't you?
That's going to be my new tagline. Yeah. Anyway, so So here's where I am. On a personal level, I like most of them. On a political level, I'll continue to oppose some of what they stand for, and I hope they don't take that personally. And furthermore, I actually will feel more represented, and I think East Idaho's values are more represented by other parts of the state than they are by our own lawmakers here.
Oh, I would absolutely agree with the end part of that statement. I do think that there are lawmakers that exist in other parts of the state that actually match the residents of Blackfoot or Idaho Falls or Pocatello. But unfortunately, money came into all of those races, and that's when you actually don't get a pairing of your lawmaker with a majority of the people.
I also think, too, when we're in a fight or flight situation, we actually will make decisions based on a single issue.
Yeah.
And I think right now, because water is a big concern, that you might, I mean, farmers feel like they're fighting for their lives right now. And by the way, if you're on the phone, don't hang up. I'll get right to you. So they're going to vote for that one lawmaker they know will vote the way they want on immigration.
Yeah.
They don't care about libraries. They don't care about bathrooms. They don't care about balancing budgets. They don't care. None of that matters. And I'm not singling out farmers saying they don't care. It's more of a commentary on the mind frame that we're in. And I don't think we're thinking holistically anymore. I think we're taking the one issue that's most important to us. That's the only filter we run these races through. And then we say, that's who I'm voting for because they're going to vote the right way on my one issue.
Again, don't hang up, but I want to make a point behind what Neal just said. We saw this in the Barbie Hart-Connor Cook race. Connor was promising that he would fund everything. He was Santa Claus. Yeah. I'll make sure you get enough money in the police department. I'll make sure you get enough money in the fire department. I'll make sure you get enough money in schools. By the way, one lawmaker can't do that, especially one that doesn't sit on JFAC, but whatever. He was Santa Claus. He was promising that. When I'm a teacher, that sounds really darn good.
Yeah.
And so, yep, I'm going to vote for him. I'm going to vote for him. I'm going to vote for him. Without a realization, there is so much more that's done over there in Boise. So, yes, I do believe people chose one issue and voted accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely happens. All right, let's go to the phones. 208-542-1079. Caller, how are you today?
Good morning. Just two quick things. Last week, you guys had talked about how when you're voting, they announce your name when you're done voting. I think part of the reason they do that, if there's poll watchers there and they have a spreadsheet, they can hear who has voted, and then they can go and hassle through the party phone chain who hasn't voted and help turn out the vote.
Oh.
And then the other point, the voter apathy thing is disgusting. You know, I'm out in Purple County, Idaho here. We had a 22% voter turnout. About 1 out of 5 registered voters voted. And, you know, there's people, I didn't know the election was today, and no one told me, and there was no signs. And, you know, I'm screaming from the rooftops that this is your civic duty. You know, these people could tell you the score of the Knicks game or when their vacation is or when their kids' 3 soccer tournaments are next month. But you know, the voting thing is just an afterthought for a lot of people. And then I understand, you know, there was the choice of the lesser evils, perhaps, with the state-level candidates, but there was a number, there's maybe a dozen ballot measures in East Idaho between school bonds, Rexburg was looking for a police department, Teton County, Idaho, passed a $1.5 million road and bridge levy. And, you know, I hate that they put those ballot measures in the May election. I think there should be in November when there's more eyes on it, because we had an 80% voter turnout in the 24 presidential election cycle. So but yeah, you guys are absolutely right. The voter apathy thing is disgusting, and there's almost no excuse all except for people not voting.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know what the magic number is. We're never going to get to 100, but I'd sure like to see it closer to 50% than we historically see.
Right. And April 27th in Idaho, early voting open. You can vote in person at your courthouse or wherever they do it, where you live. And then there's absentee voting. I mean, it's like you can vote for like 7 months almost. It's just like voting year. So there's very few excuses. You know, some people, they need to give us a state off. I'm like, or give us a day off. I'm like, who is they? Go talk to your employer. I don't know what to tell you. Like, again, people make time to do everything else in their lives. It takes about 7 minutes to vote.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Good reminder.
My husband owns a company, employs a couple of dozen people. If any of those employers had come to him and said, hey, I need the day off, or I need 2 hours to go vote, he'd have made it possible for them. I think most employers would.
Just say, can I add 30 minutes to my lunch or an hour to my lunch? And most employers are going to say, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I think that's a pretty weak excuse. There are very set occupations you can't leave. A nurse in a hospital or a caregiver. Like, I get that. But there's early voting, just like he said.
Yeah.
So just make a plan.
Yeah. Okay, that begs a question. Mm-hmm. It feels like, I remember when I was younger, probably like 30 years ago, you and I were young adults in that era, in the 1990s. And I don't remember all of these early voting windows. I think if you voted absentee, it was because you had a big trip to Europe coming up, or you were going to be deployed, or like it was an exceptional circumstance that you did not vote on Election Day. Mm-hmm. So, having said that, I would like to compare or just see if expanding these voting opportunities has actually translated into a higher voter turnout.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I feel like it's as low as it's ever been. That I don't know. Here's a problem. If I tell you, hey, there's early voting, you don't make a plan to go vote on Election Day. You're like, okay, I'll pick a day and I'll early vote, but you never get around to picking an early vote day, and then you didn't plan to vote on Election Day. Does it actually work in against you because you have expanded it into more choices and you don't commit to any one of them?
You know, there's a possibility there. I'm sitting here really quickly running things through my mind. I think when it wouldn't work against you, when it would actually increase in voting, well, okay, let's say there's really bad weather. Let's say there's really bad weather on the Tuesday. And that could happen more likely in a November election than it would in a May election. But let's say a horrible snowstorm on that Tuesday. Well, your voter turnout on that day is going to be really low. So I could twist the data point to say, look at how good the early voting did.
Yeah.
But it might not. I mean, I think I would take the overall, because you're going to have some bad weather days and some good weather days. So if you did several years, you're going to have a pretty good average to know.
Yeah, right.
How has it improved?
Just do a 5-year running average or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe this is a project for ChatGPT or Grok or something, and just say, look at voter turnout over time. And I'll be honest, people may disagree with this, but if expanding the voting opportunity in windows has not resulted in higher voter turnout, why are we doing it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. So we can cheat? Is that the part you wanted me to say?
Well, I think it's the part everybody was thinking. It's 8:42, 208-542-1079. Quick break. We'll be back after this. All right, we're back. It's 8:47 on News Talk 1079. Neal Larson along with Julie Mason. And if you'd like to reach the program, 208-542-1079. Everyone's on edge. What has been going on the last few weeks? I honestly, Julie, I look at this, and we talked about specifically Bingham County, and it boiled over in Bingham County during the election. But I feel like everything is on edge.
I would agree.
And look, being in radio, and certainly in political talk radio, we definitely get our share of people who email in, text in, whatever. It's been especially edgy the last few days. I don't know what's happening out there across the fruited plain, but I will tell you, people are much closer to that snapping point than we've seen before. So.
I don't know either.
You're laughing because I was controlling my words really carefully.
You were. It's all good. I would hope that these people don't take themselves this seriously in everyday life. I would really hope that.
Yeah.
Because the behavior that they do in the text feed with us, I can only guess that that's the way they behave in other parts of their lives. I hope they don't, but if that's the way they behave in other parts of their lives, I can't imagine if they're still working, if their work situations are great. I can't imagine how their personal situations are, because I don't talk to everyday people like that.
No, I don't know either.
I don't know either. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I guess
I'm going to smile through it. It's fine.
Well, and also sometimes people will send a message with no context whatsoever. We'll see it minutes after it comes in, so we don't even know what they're referring to.
Yeah.
All right. 208-542-1079.
Let's see. What else is going on today? Texas. Big Senate race today in Texas. Cornyn and Paxton, Attorney General Paxton and current Senator Cornyn.
Paxton's likely to win, though.
Yep. So we'll see what the reverberations are from that. It's super interesting. People have just moved past this race in Texas. They believe that Paxton's going to win. So they're looking long-term now to November. And Paxton, if he does win, will be going up against Tallarico. And I don't know how this guy even gets anywhere close to Paxton. But there are lots of people reminding everyone that crazy Beto O'Rourke got 40, what did he end up with? 42, 45 something percent when he ran against Ted Cruz. So they're like, if crazy Beto can do it, then Tallarico can do it. Well, they're kind of different. Beto just was weirdo. Tallarico was claiming that Jesus Christ was a feminist, that he was non-binary, that there is 7 genders. And those are legit quotes. I'm not making stuff up here.
No,
I'm not being outrageous.
That's not even an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in highly Christian Texas, I don't know how that flies.
No, I don't either. I think Paxton wins that 60-40.
Yeah. We'll see.
At worst.
At worst. Yeah. We'll see.
All right, let's go to the phones. Caller, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm fine, Neal, Julie. Hi, guys. Hey, I just wanted to bring up something. I don't know if you brought it up last week, but I just wanted to ask you and remind people, following that primary election, there were some people that probably didn't like Barbie Hart, and there was low voter turnout, and people were probably disgusted with this issue or that issue because of flyers and stuff like that came in, that were informative or misinformative, and pushing people to think of a candidate one way or another. And I need to ask you guys, when did we fight that ranked choice voting? Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, 24. I mean, it seems like forever. So I have to, it's hard to remember that, it almost seems like a long, long time ago. If ranked choice voting had passed, God forbid, back in 24, what kind of a conversation would we be having on the Wednesday following last Tuesday's primary? Would it be about Barbie Hart, or would it be about things like, let's say Mondami number 1 and, like I say, Mondami number 2? In other words, the bottom of the barrel type people. Does that, if it had passed, is that the kind of conversations we would now be having instead of the ones that we can have with our closed primary?
So my honest assessment of that is that the races probably would have looked about like they did anyway, because if you, and sadly, I know way more than I want to about ranked choice voting, and it actually didn't result in that much different of outcomes, but in higher profile races that attract more candidates, you could get funky results. But in nearly every contested race, you had 2 candidates. So someone always gets to 50%, and there is no ranked choice when in that environment. It doesn't come into play unless you have multiple candidates and none of them get to 50%. And so I think all other things being equal, it probably would have looked like it did anyway. Although you might argue if you had a ranked choice environment, more people may run for office simply because they feel like they have a better chance. So
I think that leads to the idea that if we had ranked choice voting pass, it would have invited more people into the race that we would not really like to have seen come into the race. And so the results, even at the lower levels, would still have looked not like a conversation that we did have, and it would have looked like something we really didn't want to have a conversation about. So anyway,
No, thank you. Thank you for the call. Let's go to our next caller. Welcome to the Neal Larson Show.
Hi, Neal and Julie. Can you hear me okay?
We can. How are you?
This is Bob. Hey, listen, I was just listening about, you're talking about ranked choice voting. The more I think about it, the more disgusted I get with it. Ranked choice, look, I have no problem with getting a minority of votes, but still a majority for the other candidates. That's my feeling on it.
Yeah. Say that once again, Bob. I think.
Okay. I hope I'm not. You two are very intelligent. What I'm saying is that I'm opposed to ranked choice. I'm opposed to ranked choice voting because I think it's okay to get the majority of the minority votes. Once a person gets the majority of the minority, why have another election? It's expensive. Also, I want to talk a little bit about the 1968 presidential election. Now, you two were probably young way back then. At the time, I was 22 years old in 1968, and I was over in Vietnam, and before I left, I applied for an absentee ballot from Long Island. Suffolk County, Riverhead is where the courthouse is, and it arrived in the mail, and I'm sitting in the photo lab. I was a photographer of the USS Tripoli, got this huge sheet of paper, and in comes Commander Stuyvesant. Commander Stuyvesant was my division officer, and he says, Neal, what do you have there? I said, that's absentee voting ballot. He said, good for you. He said, I should be absentee voting myself, but I didn't get one. He said, do you mind if I ask you who you voted for? I said, okay, yes, I voted for Nixon. Oh, you voted for Nixon, good choice. I said, well, sir, what if I had voted for Humphrey or, for Wallace? George Wallace was the third party in the South. I ran in 68. Would you put me on report and I get a captain's mass and get, I was kidding him, of course. Oh, come on, but I'd never do that. Well, my point is this. Back in 68, you had a lot of hundreds of thousands of young people like me, officers and, in my case, enlisted, and we were 22 years old. You had to be 21 in order to vote. And a lot of people saying, hey, if you're in the armed forces fighting for your country, you should be younger. It should be at 18. And, of course, eventually they dropped the voting age to 18. But, by the way, that was quite a blowout election. Nixon did well, even though he had Humphrey and Governor Wallace. Humphrey, by the way, was a Minnesota senator, as I recall, Democrat. You had the American Independent Party with George Wallace. But that was an interesting election. I was very proud. First time I voted overseas, halfway around the world. Okay, my point is this. There's no excuse for not voting. It's an off year. Who cares? No, people should vote,
Yeah.
And especially I'm worried now about coming up because I'm sure, and Lord, may I be wrong, but I think the Democrats are going to take the House. Can you imagine Hakeem Jeffries becoming the House Speaker? The guy has no diplomacy about him. You look at Mike Johnson as an example, from Louisiana, the current Republican. This is a man of dignity, of grace, who tries to do things. But Hakeem James, I'm sorry, he is non-compromising. That's my take on that.
Well, Bob, thank you. I wish we had more time, but we do have to take a break. But we'll address it in the next hour. We'll be back. It's 8:57. Okay. Good morning. It's hour 2. Welcome to the show. 208-542-1079. Do we need Kenny G today?
I don't know what we need. It's such a weird morning. I was just filling a text about a friend of mine who had a heart attack.
Yikes.
And it's a female, which is weird to have a heart attack as a female in your 40s. So I was fielding that text. We've got crazy stuff going on in the text line. We've had crazy stuff going on in the studio this morning.
Yeah.
I always make a joke that the moon is in Gatorade instead of retrograde.
Right. It's true. Yes. Well, I was just going to say there's a disturbance in the force, and it's like something weird is going on.
Something's happening.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
What's the worst flavor of Gatorade? The yellow?
Any of it.
Yeah, I don't like Gatorade.
I'm not a big
some
fan
people
of
love
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
I don't know. I mean, I remember growing up, I drank a lot of Gatorade as a teenager because, you play football and you need the electrolytes, and it was sort of a thing, but I don't know. I actually don't hate Gatorade. Gatorade's fine. I'm not going to rip on Gatorade.
I don't know. Whatever the worst flavor is, that's what's happening today.
Yeah.
The moon is in the worst flavor of Gatorade.
Right. That's, yes. I could have totally made a hummus joke there, and I chose not to. So, because you and I are still on the same page, but we have a lot of incoming, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, but they're increasing our numbers, so it's great.
That's
Keep
true.
coming. Keep coming.
All right. 208-542-1079. Julie, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know, because the news cycle is not that awesome.
I do have one point that I will make. Actually, I was wrong. I'm going to correct myself here.
Oh, wait, you just got called self-righteous in the text line. So are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to correct yourself?
Yeah. Well, it happens so rarely.
Okay.
It's like an eclipse. It's like the great American eclipse here. Neal was wrong, and he's about to admit it.
Okay.
So, actually, I want to go back to the call from last hour about what would have happened if we had had ranked choice voting.
Okay.
And I said, well, it would have been about the same, because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if you look at the races that we had in East Idaho, Connor Cook, Barb Ehart, Jim Guthrie, David Worley, Julianne Young, Ben Furman, whatever, those would not have just been the races. For instance, in Barb's race, there's a Democrat running named Chance Marshall. All of it would have been in one race in the spring.
Almost like a jungle primary.
Yeah, it would have been a jungle primary. Mm-hmm. In that scenario, there are scenarios where Barb loses and Chance Marshall wins.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the current system, sorry to break it to you, Chance Marshall has no chance.
Yes.
No pun intended. But there's no way in November that Barb loses now, right? Because you're going to have much higher turnout. You're going to have a lot of Republicans coming out. It's a midterm election, whatever the case may be. And Barb's probably going to be like, I never take anything for granted, and we know you don't. But I'm just saying, as an external political observer, the Republican, that's a safe Republican legislative seat.
She won't be sweating that election near as much as she was last week. Yes.
But if we had ranked choice voting, and this speaking to the last caller in the last, or the caller in the last hour about that, there is a pathway for the least popular candidates. The candidates that have no chance in November can actually end up winning their race. Mm-hmm. And so, it's you get rid of the primary system, and then we choose the people that we vote for. And here's how it would work. My hunch is most of the people who voted for Connor would have chosen Chance as their second choice. And most of the people that would have voted for Chance would have made Connor their second choice.
Yeah, Barb was going to either be first or third.
Yes.
On people's lists, if you're ranking. And so I believe she would have gotten a majority of the first votes. But then as you work your way through the ranking system, it would have gotten difficult for her.
Yes. Yeah, it would have. So,
and you always have the potential for more candidates because they have a better likelihood of getting elected in the ranked choice voting. So you can't just say it would have been just those three.
Yeah. Yeah. And then who knows what would have happened once you get, 4 or 5 candidates involved. So, in other words, we dodged a bullet by voting down ranked choice voting.
It's so messy. It's already messy the way it is. Ranked choice is double messy.
Well, and that was one of the things that we talked about was how it's already confusing, right? Mm-hmm. And we already have a trust deficit when it comes to our elections on multiple fronts. I think we trust that the votes are counted accurately. I don't think that's a big concern. Yeah, but when you look at all the dark PAC money coming in, that's an erosion of trust. Mm-hmm. When you throw in a really confusing voting system, then that's yet another layer of a trust erosion. And we need to build trust in the elections and not erode them. So
yeah, I believe in East Idaho and in Idaho. I'll say Idaho. I believe our election system is running appropriately. I really appreciate the job that Secretary of State Phil McGrain has done. I think in my precinct, you and I have also gone and voted early so we could experience it. Both of those experiences for me I'm seeing people that are very aware of what they're doing. I think they're effectively trained, and I do believe the votes get counted appropriately. I know for certain if I lived in another state, I wouldn't have that reassurance.
Yeah. If you lived in like Michigan or Wisconsin or Minnesota,
absolutely not.
Would you trust your elections?
No.
No, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either. Someone said, I guess I missed all the drama. I was busy spending time with my family.
Wise choice.
Good job. Why are people calling Neal self-righteous? Now, I'm not going to say because they're morons. I wouldn't say that. But why are they calling me self-righteous?
Well, the point of that texter is that we don't do a very good job of looking in the mirror because we beg people to do their own research and find out things, but then we demand that they think exactly like us, and I actually think that that's wrong. So
yeah,
I don't know what to say to that. I ask people all the time to look the other way. Look, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you a really prime example. I'm not going to say which candidate, but we held a debate. We held 4 debates.
Yeah.
In one of our debates, we had a couple of people text in who said they kind of had some ill feelings about a certain candidate. And after watching the debate changed their mind and they were now going to vote for that candidate.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably the candidate neither you nor I would have chosen.
Right.
But that candidate came and was very courageous and did a great job in the debate.
Yeah.
And for those 2 people who admitted it, that candidate won over their hearts.
Yeah.
And that candidate then was the person that they voted for. That's why we did the debates. The debates were not about making one candidate look good and one candidate look bad. As much as Ben Furman said that openly on his Facebook page, that absolutely was not true or accurate. And if it was, wouldn't our bias have shown through?
Yeah.
And it didn't. These 2 people who texted in say, yeah, I'm actually going to vote for that candidate.
We were praised by people who don't like us for our debates.
So back to the self-righteous comment. The person is saying that we always demand that people think like us. When we received those 2 texts, I didn't immediately text them back and say, you chose wrong.
Yeah.
I was proud that we put on a debate and 2 people came forward and did their thing.
Yeah. I am too. Well, okay, so this gets to my theory, Julie. I actually look at reporters for like the New York Times or some mainstream outlet. When they're reporting the news, which is supposed to be fair, balanced, unbiased, all the words we apply to good journalism. When that's their only outlet, their only stage that they get to be on, they can't put their opinions aside. Mm-hmm. And that's why their reporting feels so biased, because they don't have another outlet to get their opinions in. So they get their opinion in sneaky ways, using journalistic words, but maybe excluding a detail or burying an important detail 11 paragraphs in. Like it can happen 1,000 different ways. I feel like we're better equipped to moderate a debate because we actually have this platform to share our opinion. It's a place to save your opinion. It's a place to put your opinion when you feel like, okay, this is how I feel about this issue or this candidate. If we didn't have anything else, we'd be worse debate moderators because there's no other place for us to
express an opinion,
express where we're at. And so I think we were widely praised for our debate moderation because we had the space to be unbiased, knowing we had the space to be opinionated over here. And I felt like we are in a weird place journalistically, because I am seeing behavior by people who profess to be journalists where they're including opinions and snarkiness and all sorts of things in a space that's supposed to just be good journalism. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, it made me think of that. I think it's a healthy thing to have an opinion platform so that you can actually function in a more reasonable way when you're needing to in an unbiased way.
Yeah, it's all right. Hey, look, like I said when we started this whole thing, These people who are angry, all you're doing is increasing our presence. So, okay. You can disagree with us. That's fine. I don't demand agreement from you. I don't ever.
That's never been an expectation. And in fact, when I tell people, go do your homework, I don't expect you to come back and arrive and I'm going to scrutinize the homework you've done.
Yeah. And
that's just for you. You arrive at your own conclusions. I don't care what they are, and that's fine.
Those people that texted in and did their own homework by watching the debate and coming to a conclusion, they got to come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
I didn't then follow that up and go, I don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
They did their homework. It's their vote.
Right. Which is great.
Yeah.
Now, if we can get this guy to go out and tell 14 of his friends about this. Maybe he doesn't have 14 friends, but. All right. 9:20 on News Talk 1079. We got a Moats and Beams, bro. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. We still got to make that into a T-shirt.
I know. We really do. All right. We're going to break 208-542-1079. It's Tuesday here on the Neal Larson Show.
It is currently 86 degrees in our studio.
Whoosh.
And there is no air circulating, so we can't breathe.
It's a sauna.
Did you see it? I just caught that pen. That was impressive.
Very impressive. Hopefully Facebook caught it.
Ice, ice, baby. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I've told you guys that we're doing the 5 best songs as a family. Yeah. And then we made a family playlist out of it and everything. Mm-hmm. Okay, the next option that our family wants to do is the 5 best movies. Here's the problem with that. We have to go at a much slower rate. It's really easy to listen to a 2-minute and 47-second song.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to listen to or watch a 2-hour, 10-minute movie.
Yeah.
And do it for 6 people. So we're going a little bit slower. I can test. I don't know if this movie will be on my list. Mm-hmm. But I can test the scene from A Few Good Men where you've got Kevin Bacon, Demi Moore, Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson. Yep. And Jack Nicholson is on the stand. Has to be top 5 best scenes in a movie ever.
Is that the you can't handle the truth scene? Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah, that is good. That was really good.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Probably within genres, but I don't know if I have an overall.
So that's where we're having to do it. We're going to make everyone pick one out of different genres.
Oh, that's good. Is this a song of stalking or of surveillance?
No, it's stalking, and it's a little creepy.
Yeah, it is a little creepy. Still a great song, but yeah.
A couple of programming notes. We just got a text from somebody saying, where is our water going? And then they give a list of reservoirs that are low. We will have a water interview on Thursday at 7:30.
Yeah.
This is deep, deep concern to the area. The reservoirs are so low. So a couple of things. It's raining today. Maybe pray or send out good vibes that rain continues. And then also the water interview is at 7:30 with Brian Murdoch on Thursday. Then we also tomorrow have an interview at 7:30 with Steve Yates. He is our expert that we always turn to for everything China, Taiwan, foreign policy related. And we've been waiting to have him on since Trump and his team visited China a couple of weeks back. We were in the middle of the election, so we were unable to do this interview sooner, but he will be joining us at 7:30 tomorrow.
Okay, we look forward to that. Let's go to the phones, 208-542-1079. Hello.
Are we on hold with this call?
We might be. Are you there, caller?
That's some very pleasant hold music.
What is this?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what that is. I think we are on hold.
I think we're on hold.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Good.
If you call, you got to be ready to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there we go.
Let's go to this caller. Welcome to the show, caller. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing pretty well. What's up?
So, I just wanted to bring something to your attention. I wouldn't call it election fraud or anything like that, but I've talked to a couple people, and this is regarding Madison County and Rexburg, that whether it was misplaced or whatever, there was a couple people I've talked to that live in the city but yet they got county ballots, and after they voted, they realized there were things on there that should have been on there because they were city residents. So I don't know what's going on there, just, human error, but I thought I'd bring it to your attention.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do anything without having more information or knowing more. Like, do you know these people personally that this happened to?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And it's more regarding, like, the police station, the new police station. They never saw that on their ballot.
Okay.
And probably because they were given a county ballot where the county residents, didn't vote on that particular thing.
Yeah. And they're 100% sure they live inside the city limits of Rexburg.
Yeah, I know where both of them live, in Rexburg, yeah.
Okay. Okay, the next question I would ask, because we have very limited information. I would hope, if they are this concerned, that they reached out to their own county clerk and said, this is our address. Why did we get a county ballot, not a city ballot?
Right, and I think that has been done. I just wonder if anything is going to be to come of it. So I wanted to get it out there that maybe there was some confusion that happened that caused that not to happen.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we'll see. I did hear a few irregularities, like someone said they were a Republican, but they got a Democrat ballot, or vice versa. I think that was from other parts of the state, but you got hundreds of thousands of people voting. You're probably gonna have a few irregularities, but that seems very, very weird to me.
And it did to me too, and it did to them.
Yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate you calling. If you hear any follow-up to it, I'd love to hear what the rest of the story is. Not to sound like Paul Harvey, but yeah. All right, thank you for the call. 208-542-1079.
The rest of the story.
Hello, Americans.
It's Paul Harvey.
Good day. Radio of yesteryear.
Oh, that makes me miss my dad. That's when I listened to Paul Harvey. It was with my dad in the truck.
Yeah, same. Riding in the farm truck with the AM radio turned up.
Yep.
Yeah. 208-542-1079.
Okay.
Good day.
We're staring at each other because the news cycle is horrible.
It is. It is. It's weird. It's just a weird, and sometimes this happens coming off of a holiday. But I'm still trying to process why is everybody on edge right now? Why we have more hostility in our incoming text feed than I've seen in quite some time, especially for the day after a holiday. It's weird. Like, we have thick skin. It doesn't.
Oh, I'm fine.
It never ruins our day. We don't leave here and go, oh, bother, I got a bad text today. It's not like that. It's just, I look at it like it's a temperature gauge for the people out there. And what's happening that so many people are on edge? What's interesting, too, is we're getting texts from people who supported candidates who won.
And they're still angry.
They're sore winners. And I'm like, why are you still sore? Your guy won. I don't know why you're upset at us. Your guy won.
Yeah.
People act like we have all power. We don't have all power. The elections would have looked differently if we had all power. So we have our opinions.
Yeah.
And we strive to express it accurately, memorably, accurately, but we certainly clearly we don't have this outsized influence that some people think we do.
We're only a few days away, actually, from figuring out if the marijuana ballot initiative and if the abortion ballot initiative made it onto the November ballot, correct?
Yeah.
June 1st?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Which is going to be an interesting journey once that... I think they've made the ballot. I'll be honest with you.
I would think so, too.
They have enough extra signatures that I think that it's we better just plan on abortion and marijuana being on the ballot this fall. So, what does that mean in terms of turnout? Does that mean more Democrats showing up, or does that mean more libertarians showing up?
Both. I'm going to say both.
Or does it mean more mainstream conservatives wanting to stop it? Like, this could turn into a big turnout bonanza in November.
I don't know how to judge what the conservatives are doing, because I think that's my group of people.
Yeah.
That I can kind of read the best. I was shocked when I saw on Facebook, when I decided to re-enter that cesspool after the election, that I saw people that I thought for sure, if you had asked me, I would have put $100 bill on the fact that they went and voted.
Yeah.
And they were saying they didn't go vote. So I don't know. I don't have an idea of how people are feeling right now. And clearly you and I are shocked because we've got so many angry people.
I know.
I think in general, people are just not in a good place.
I read a book one time. I don't even remember the author's name, but I do remember the premise of the book. And it basically was, sometimes we get inundated with so much information, we start to make bad decisions. And when you have too much information, then your confirmation bias kicks in and you start cherry picking the things you already agree with. Yeah. That might not be a good representation of reality. And so you start making these just weird judgments, and you and I are prone to it. I'm not saying we're the normal ones.
We have to be careful.
Yeah, right. I'm saying we're all subject to this. And I think if there's there's no greater representation of too much information than social media. You are inundated with so much stuff. And the algorithm is designed to keep feeding up stuff that you like to watch. So you're creating your own perception of reality around you that you like. That doesn't always coincide with accuracy. And so we're in a weird world. I think that's a lot of this. And I think people are creating these anti-Israeli worlds around them. I think they're creating the Trump's the devil world around them, because that's what they keep watching on their social media feeds. And you got to be somehow you got to figure out a way to cut through that and say, okay, what's the accurate thing here? What is the truth that is actually happening? We don't always get it right. Okay, and I want to lean into that. We don't, because we're subject to the same thing from time to time. But the first important step is be aware of this and wonder, what perception of the world is the algorithm creating based on my viewing preferences?
Well, I can't even count in our private conversations going up to the election on May 19th how many times I said to you, social media is not real. It's not real.
It's not.
There is a false world portrayed there. And I think that if you're meaning the listener, if you're being honest with yourself, you might have thought some of what happened on May 19th would have turned out differently based upon social media.
Yeah.
It's not real.
No, it's not real, but it looks real to them. And that's the problem here.
And I, again, gently reminding the listener, YouTube is social media.
Yeah.
I know people treat it like it's a news source. And yes, you can get political information. And yes, you can get health-related information. And yes, you get a lot of the topics that you find on news. It is social media.
Oh, yeah. The instant somebody shares a YouTube video with us and it's political, my skepticism goes up because people are creating these niche channels. YouTube's great if you need to know how to change the oil filter on an 83 Charger. It's great for that kind of stuff and DIY and all of that. I don't think it's that great of a source if you want to find the political truth, because you're just going to go out and find the version of the truth that you select and that you like.
Look, I have a very, very, very obvious apples to apples comparison here. I can find a YouTube channel that tells me at my age, my diet is supposed to be this, and this, and then my exercise is supposed to be this, and this. I can find 3 other channels that go completely against that and say, no, at your age and as a female, you should be doing this. And then I can find another channel that says, oh, you don't do either one of those. You do this. That's social media. They make money off of clicks.
Yeah.
So they're going to look at the people who are being unsuccessful in taking care of their bodies and go, I'll offer up something else because they're looking for a fix. They're looking for a fix. They're looking for a fix. Politics is no different.
Well, I also think they've discovered that you get more clicks from a confused population, too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's actually an incentive to send out disparate information. So
Absolutely.
people are like, you're like, okay, I got to find out what the truth is. So you keep clicking, and you got to break out of it.
Yep.
It's a matrix. Break out of the matrix. So.
Or maybe we're all living in a simulation.
Maybe, but why couldn't my simulation be an ocean with, the Bahamas, and I'm sitting on a white sand beach? That's
Virgin Mai Tai.
Right.
Going and picking an avocado off of a tree so it's fresh.
Yeah. That's the simulation I want. 9:36 News Talk 1079. It's a Tuesday morning. We're going to take a quick break, but we will come back and continue. If you'd like to reach us, 208-542-1079. All right.
Oh, goodness.
I have a story to tell you, Facebook. I get a text from my daughter this morning, like 5-something. And she is with 2 of her friends on, it's actually the California coast. Now they're in the Redwoods, but they've been in Oregon for a couple of days. And I guess they're heading as far south as San Francisco.
So is there only 3 of them? I thought there was 4 of them on the trip.
It was going to be 4, but
there's only 3.
3
Okay.
of them. So anyway, so I get this text at 5:06 a.m. Listen to this. Hi, Dad. It's Jessie. My phone doesn't have service, so she's using a friend's phone. But I figured you might be awake. We woke up. There was a skunk inside of our tent. Someone left some snacks in there, and we managed to escape, but now we're just sitting in my car waiting for it to finish eating. I was just wondering if you have any ideas on how to get it to leave. I sent...
Neal, the skunk whisperer.
Yes. And so I sent like 15 laugh emojis. That was my first text back to her. I said, you don't want to scare it. It will spray, and then all your stuff will be completely ruined. I think you're just going to have to wait it out. Is the tent door open? If so, go around to the opposite side, maybe 30 or 40 feet away. Start throwing some pine cones or small rocks at the tent. The skunk probably won't spray if it doesn't feel cornered, and it should scare it out of the tent. And then she said back, this is the worst thing ever. Me and Nia can't stop laughing. Trey woke us up in a whisper kind of yell, guys, I think something is eating next to me. And I thought he meant like outside. So I yell, hey, like you would to a bear. And Trey just, hold on, he yells, stop, and we turn on a light. There's a skunk half a foot from Trey just crunching some snacks. So we all try to stay calm. Nia whimpers in her sleeping bag. Trey's calmly freaking out. I build the courage to unzip the tent, and now we are in the car. And I said, how did it get in the tent if the door was zipped up? And she said, like 4 inches at the bottom where the zippers meet was undone. So it was just through a little.
Just put his nose in.
Yeah. And I said, okay, I think this skunk is used to humans, so it's a little less likely to spray. Open up the door fully, then try to scare it away from the opposite side. And she said, well, let's hope so. The door is open. It kept coming in and out, but it finally just left, we think. I said, okay, and the skunk left. I'll warn you, your stuff is probably going to stink a little anyway, just because skunks stink, but it should go away quickly. Tell me when you're back in your tent, and by the way, this is the best story ever. And she said, it honestly is so funny, but definitely was not in the moment. Trey went in there. The skunk is for sure gone, so we will go back in there in a minute. And then I said, I'm shocked it didn't spray you guys. Then I didn't hear back, so I'm assuming they got some
They're
sleep.
okay.
Yeah.
Or they're at their local grocery store buying a whole bunch of tomato juice and,
Right.
and getting a hotel so they can each take a tomato juice bath.
Yes, that could be.
V8, tomato juice.
I'll tell you, I don't know how well that actually works.
I just know that was the recommended way to get rid of a skunk smell when I was a kid. I have no idea either.
Yeah. Yeah.
I scared a skunk on my dad's deck once.
Did you? Did it spray?
I think, if I remember right, it did. But I was going to go outside, and I walked into the kitchen, and I flipped on the light, and it illuminated the deck and the kitchen, and there was a skunk sitting on the step that goes, it was a step and then to the deck. And, yeah. I might have screamed.
Warranted. All right, 9:41 on News Talk 1079. I was just telling our Facebook audience about a story. My daughter's camping in the Redwoods, and a skunk snuck into their tent overnight. So
they didn't get sprayed.
No, they didn't get sprayed. They're okay. I think it's a campground. I think it's like a skunk that has become habituated to humans. So it's probably less likely to spray, as long as it's got something to eat and you don't corner it.
Maybe we should be less habituated to humans. Maybe we should fear humans a little bit more.
I will say, after enough elections, I become less and less habituated to humans. I don't want to be around them. Seriously. I don't know. They're tough. Like they're just a tough process to go through for, I think, everyone involved. Don't you think? Like, hardest for the candidates, no doubt, and their families and all the time that they put in. But I think from a standpoint of all the interviews that we did, 70 plus interviews, we held 4 live on-air debates. There's just a lot of stress, a lot of cortisol in a campaign. You're accentuating where you differ. That's just what politics is. And so, like, when you're done, there's part of you that's like, why do we do this?
Well, all I know is we watch these candidates. We interview, especially the current lawmakers. We see them on and off during the legislative session, and then they start campaigning as soon as the legislative session is done. They look so tired when it's over.
Yeah, they do.
Do you remember how tired Jeff Aldridge and Lisa Burtonshaw looked?
Oh, yeah.
They looked exhausted by the time that runoff election happened in December.
Yeah, well, they did. And, well...
And the community was exhausted, too.
Yeah, we were. I was exhausted with them, too. But, yeah. You know what? I think we should just go to having one person in charge with no elections ever.
Imagine the No Kings protest if there was actually a king.
Because the democracy is its own tyranny. It's a tyranny of stress. It's a tyranny of conflict. So let's make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Julie, we've got to talk about Tom Steyer.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a clip where basically I don't think there's any profanity.
I don't remember any profanity in this one either.
Yeah. So here's what Tom Steyer had to say. Listen to this. Hold on. Let me mute that. Here we go.
You talked about trans people. I'm totally in favor of trans athletes in high school. I think when you understand the vulnerability, the stress, the danger of being a trans kid, and you understand that almost half of them try to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And then you think we're going to punish those kids. We're going to cut them off from team sports. We're going to cut them off from participating in the community. We're going to cut them off from fun. It's like, no, we're not. No, we're not. And, as someone who played sports my whole life and loves sports and love playing sports, there are more important things than whether you start on your high school basketball team. And that is standing up for people who are under threat of death.
Okay, Julie, you first.
You know why the last part of that clip annoys me so much? He's a guy.
Yeah.
If you can't compete amongst other guys, then that's your problem.
Right. Yeah.
Ask the girls. You don't get to weigh in on this one. Ask the girl who doesn't get to stand on the podium in the first place. Ask the girl who took a volleyball to the head and is now permanently damaged.
Yeah.
Ask the girl who is in the middle of a tennis match and can't even return a serve.
So, I'll ask it this way, and I want to preface it with, we need to do everything we can that has a long-term benefit and that is effective to address the issue of teen suicide. Any suicide. But in this case, I think he's talking about kids playing sports, adolescent suicide. I agree with him on let's do what we need to stop that. But do you remember, first of all, the research that they've done? The suicide rate does not drop post-surgery, post-procedure. It actually doesn't help the suicidality of it. But that was their whole argument was, well, we need to transition these kids because if you don't transition them, they're going to take their own lives. Well, when you do transition them, it doesn't reduce the rate at which they're taking their lives. There's something more at play here. I doubt that Tom Steyer has data that says kids that are allowed to play on a sports team, biological boys playing on a girls' sports team reduces the suicide rate. Mm-hmm. I bet you he has no data regarding that, so he probably can't even back that up. But what if I asked you, Julie, we have an applicant for this company to be the CEO, and he says he's going to take his own life if we don't make him the CEO? Or what if someone came to you and said, hey, I want to be a cashier at your grocery store, and if you don't make me a cashier, I'm taking my own life? Is the answer, and I could come up with 1,000 different scenarios, is the answer in that situation to make them the CEO and the cashier?
Oh, absolutely not. And this actually gets used in personal relationships all the time. It's a volatile relationship, potentially dangerous to either side of the relationship. And one side of the relationship says, if you break up with me, I will commit suicide. So do you stay in a horrible relationship just to stop that? No, you get that person mental health.
You might say something to placate them in the moment, and then you instantly get them some mental health. Mm-hmm. That's what you do. And so, but what he is arguing for is, let's take athletic opportunities away from women and girls as suicide treatment for trans kids. Mm-hmm. That is the most broken kind of thinking that I can imagine.
Yep.
That's not what's going to give them help. And it's the weirdest thing. I don't understand the left because they don't actually think through this stuff. He doesn't think through, would that actually reduce the suicidality of kids if we let boys play against girls in sports? Is that actually going to solve the problem? It may be what they think they want in the moment, but does that actually solve the problem of them wanting to take their own lives? I would say it may actually make it worse, because if underneath all of it, biologically, if you're a male and you've defeated girls on the court, I don't think that actually makes you feel better about yourself. I don't think you look at that and go, that was an accomplishment. It might be in the moment, but I think over the long term, you look at that and you say, I'm actually not competing against my peers. It's when you achieve in the context of your peers that you gain confidence. Not when, if I went, I mean, I haven't played basketball in a little while, but if I went and played against 4-year-olds, blocked every shot, would I feel good about that?
Oh, no, but you also wouldn't have cheerleaders on the sidelines going, good job, Neal. And these people do. A.B. Hernandez in California, his mom is the biggest offender. She has been the push behind this for these last few years as he's competed in high school and destroyed these girls. They're not even close to him in track and field.
Yeah.
My question is, this kid's going to age out. What happens to him after that?
Exactly.
Who does he become after A.B. Hernandez, the trans athlete?
Yeah.
I don't think it looks good for him.
No, I don't either. I don't either. And accountability is always usually healthy for the person.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've got a break. 951 208 542 1079. That's the number if you'd like to text us today. We'll come back after a couple of minutes here, and we'll wrap up the show here on News Talk 1079.
Got a photograph, picture of. I get you, Vicky. Vicky said we were talking about habituating with humans. She said, I've become a bit antisocial over the past few years. People are just plain weird.
That is so true.
There's some weirdness out there.
Yeah.
Okay, Lisa, if you've been sprayed by a skunk, she said she has. They were trapping one on their land, and she ended up getting sprayed by it. How did you get rid of the smell? Does the tomato juice work?
It's the worst smell ever.
On the marijuana conversation?
Yeah.
My last 2 ventures out walking long distances, 4 miles or more.
Mm-hmm.
Could smell weed both times. One, it was really weird. One, I was coming up upon an intersection, a busy intersection, Woodruff and 25th. I think someone was smoking it in their car.
Really?
I think that's where the smell was coming from.
Was it just the driver?
I don't know which car.
Oh, you couldn't tell.
Yeah, because I'm just walking and there's a line of cars waiting to...
And
I just smelled it.
I don't want that to come to our state.
Okay, and Glade's on here. Glade, is the rain good today? Meaning, I'm not being dumb here. Rain is not always good in the planting cycle because you need the ground dried out and everything. Are we at a point right now where all rain is good rain? That's my question.
Good question.
Oh, Lisa said it was hydrogen peroxide that she got the smell off with, and even after that, it just takes time to get rid of it.
Have you ever been I don't mean driving down the highway and a skunk got hit and you smell that skunk smell. I mean, in the immediate vicinity, it's a different smell than the highway smell. Like, it's very fragrant when we had dogs that would get sprayed and we're moving pipes. So it happened like right there. It's almost like onions. Like, it's a different smell than just the faint skunk smell. And it's very overpowering. And for me, the overpowering smell smells nothing like the actual skunk that you smell when you're driving.
Interesting. I think this about cigarettes.
Oh, really?
I think stale cigarettes and regular, like fresh cigarette smoke out of a cigarette, completely different smells.
I think you're right.
Stale cigarettes, way worse. Way worse.
Yeah, I think you're right. What is the difference there?
I don't know. Okay, Glade says yes. Pray for the rain. It's good.
Here we go. All right, 9:55 News Talk 1079. Swing by Town and Country Gardens. Grab your tomatoes, grab your peppers, grab some hanging baskets, and always, always, always grab the 4-step lawn program. Easy to apply. No, you're not too late. Just get the step 1 down. That's the humates. Maybe wait a few days, and then you can put step 2 down, and you're totally caught up. Not a problem. So it's not too late to get started.
Yeah, you can have a green lawn also. So just kind of have a rough idea about how much square footage you have of a lawn. Then you can go down. You can do some calculations. If you're not confident with your calculations, ask for help. That's what they're there for. In fact, multiple times when I've been down to Town and Country Gardens over the last few years, there's usually someone stationed in the area where the 4-step lawn program is sold. So you don't even have to go searching for somebody.
Yep.
There's usually someone right around there. So if you're unsure, ask for help. Make sure you either take a picture of how the steps are applied, or they have a piece of paper that you can take with you. Then just set reminders in your phone, and you're going to have a green, lush lawn at the end.
It's almost like they're bringing beautiful things to life.
Will you sing it?
If you want me to. No, not today.
Do the people want you to sing it?
Probably not. But you can find out at Town and Country Gardens, south of Idaho Falls, Yellowstone Highway, across from the beer plant. I was just talking to Julie about, we were talking about skunks, right?
Yeah.
Skunks have 2 smells. There's the smell you smell when you're traveling down the interstate and a skunk got hit. That's just like, oh, that's a skunk. If you're in the vicinity of a skunk being sprayed, it is It is like onions. Like it's an overpowering, crazy, strong smell.
Somebody on Facebook Live thinks the really fresh skunk smell you're talking about smells like burning tire rubber.
Oh, okay.
Can you get that?
I can see that. Yeah.
I haven't been around I haven't been that close.
Yeah. Well, count yourself blessed because it's
when
not
you don't sleep in
pleasant.
tents and move pipe.
That's
you
true.
dramatically decrease your,
That is
risk of getting sprayed.
You want to hear something wild, though? Ever since COVID, I can barely smell a skunk. Barely. Like, we'll be in the car. There'll be 3 other people in the car, and they're like, woo, you smell that skunk? And I'll be like, no. And I'll have to, like, really focus in, take a deep breath. I might get a little tiny faint hint of it, but it's mostly gone.
Silver linings.
I guess so. But are there good smells I'm missing? Because
Maybe.
Yeah, could be. Some smells I won't miss. All right. Now I thought of a joke.
Another reason not to be habituated around people.
A joke I can't tell. All right, everyone. Have a great Tuesday. Julie and I back tomorrow right here on News Talk 1079. Clay and Buck are up next.